YouTube, what is going on? This is AP's Finest, No Title Productions, and I am back finally after more of a hiatus than I hoped for initially, but part 12 of the collection series. Want to get some of these pairs back down in some cold storage, and I'll explain why when you see them up close. But yeah, so we're just gonna run it and then move it on. So let's start off with a unique special pair. I know it doesn't look terribly unique. Obviously you can see the writing there, but these are the Madness Friends and Family 990 V3s. There were actually two that were, I want to say released, but given to, friends of the Madness group over there. And these are the better ones, in my opinion. The browns and the navies, reflective 3M paneling on the toe box and the ankle collar. I'm sorry, I don't have the light on to show you that, but it looks really cool when it's lit up. And then obviously it's like those laces are pretty sweet. All work and no play makes you mad, with their logo on the inside. So Friends and Family V3s to start. I want to go to these. These are actually a pretty cool pair, pretty special. You do not see these very often anymore, if at all. The 711 574s. Now, these are not made in USA. These are actually made in Asia pair, and part of the reason why is actually that they're paying tribute to 711, but from a Japanese perspective, for sure. Find out that 711 is like far more popular over in Japan than it is even over here anymore. And these are pretty old. I don't know exactly. I want to say like maybe 2008, 2009, even somewhere in that range. But obviously not the quality of made in USA construction all the way, but the suede's still holding up for the most part. And I think the color blocking is fantastic. And then the little hits of patent leather there, and the orange on the heel, mixing in the greens, and then the white patent leather on the upper. So really cool pair, 711 574s. Another very cool pair of 574s. These were the missing part to the pack that I talked about, I believe in part 11. These are the Shan Deonia, forgive me for mispronouncing that, 574s. These are unbelievable. Honestly, the level of detail in these is off the charts. Kind of just show it to you, right? Let it speak for itself. But there's the eye that I spoke about, talking about on the toe box when I was referencing them before. But just the way that they did like a kind of a mix of like kung fu, like blaxploitation, just like 70s homage, really. And I love that they omit the N on the medial side, I believe, the inner side. But yeah, part of the pack that the Eric Hayes and the Josh Wisdoms were part of. And I think, honestly, probably the best one out of the three. They look really cool on feet. So Shan Deonia 574s. Now we're going to go to a run of 997s and GR 997s. And I wanted to speak on just the quality and depth of the GR releases over the, I'd say probably the preceding decade, before the most recent kind of COVID bounce that the brand has been experiencing, right? The latest generation of converts and fans and loonies like me. But these are kind of a batch in that batch of like the preceding decade before that. And the first ones are, these are all 997s. It's the 997 SOB. I've heard it called barely green, mint greens, but just awesome. The reflective paneling there on the ankle collar, top of the toe box, that pebbled effect up there, super soft on the leather. Just gorgeous, really gorgeous, and goes with a lot more than you would think. But then next to them, part of, again, and I'm going to lean into this more in the next video, but these are part of one of the Connoisseur packs. These are the Connoisseur Ski Pack 997s in, look at that, just a gorgeous burgundy suede with the mesh, and then the leather, really two types of leather, but that veggie leather up at the top. Look how thin the tongue is on those, stitched in on the leather. Absolutely beautiful. One of my favorite GR997s of all time, 100%. Connoisseur ski pack, burgundy 997s. All right, another connoisseur pack. This one part of the Distinct Authors pack, and this is the Catcher in the Rye 997s. It's hard to show without pulling them out, and I guess I probably should have done that before I started shooting, but you can pretty much see it in there. It's basically taking the colors from the first edition of Catcher in the Rye and putting them on here in tasteful ways. Nothing like crazy really going on. I mean, grays, blacks, outlining reds, but that yellow on the back there, and then the red on the wedge part of the midsole on the medial sides. Man, really cool. Really, really cool touch, just to kind of like give it that level of pop with stitching on the tongue, the colors. Really, really cool. So Distinct Authors, Catcher in the Rye 997s. Okay, now we're going over here to maybe my favorite one of. I know I just said the ski pack ones were, but this is the Distinct Weekend 997. Again, just leaning into just the use of such quality materials and well-placed color blocking. Not trying to do too much, but by being simple, keeping it simple basically, produces such a gorgeous, gorgeous pair. I mean, again, with those leather patches in the areas where you would normally find like synthetics, plastics or synthetics on the ankle wing for the eyelets and the top of the toe box there. But yeah, even the N, blue leather on the N, just beautiful with the canvas wrapping around the ankle and on the toe box. So Distinct Weekend 997s. Okay, going to a pair that I know maybe some will scoff at. I'm not obviously you don't ever really see them, but the 997H is very, very comfortable, and I think it's a bad rap because it's, you know, the cheaper version, cheaper, younger cousin of 997s. But these are the Figs 997Hs, and I just love the color blocking on these between the grays and then those like mint greens, a little bit darker on the lining and then on the outer mesh and the laces, but just really, really, really good looking, comfortable, and yeah, Figs collaborative New Balances, their insoles are just like that much thicker and nicer. Obviously leaning into that, you know, scrubs and workwear attire kind of thing, but yeah, just a really nice, you know, obviously under the radar pair, but super, super cool. Works to throw on with a lot of different stuff and comfy. So Figs 997Hs. Now we're going to move on to maybe my favorite Kith release of recent iteration. I know I'm going to show a couple in a bit that everybody really loves a ton, and I do too, but I just think the way that these kind of came out of nowhere, the Easter pack 997.5s, really, really awesome. I mean, just they have a lot of colors on them, but they are very muted, so they're not overwhelming pastels, and I just think that mint green on the inner, kind of like with the Catcher in the Rye 997s, I was saying with the red on those, the mint on the medial side, inner side of the midsole is just gorgeous. And the like peach suede tongue, I couldn't really decide which set of laces I liked more. I think those rope laces are really cool, but I think I'm probably preferential to those mint, the lighter mint ones, but just a gorgeous, gorgeous pair. The pastel Easter 997.5s from Kith, that was kind of a low-key, under the radar kind of thing. So before I jump to that stuff, I want to show these. It kind of stinks that they are not in the order that with the others that I want, but I'll just show them to you right now. These are the Air Force Edition 993s. Just navy, nothing terribly crazy going on there, but yeah, I think probably my favorite next to the Marine Corps. I would say the Marine Corps are probably the Marine Corps are the Coast Guards, but I think that just having the whole set of 5, if I can ever find the Armies in my size, would be really, really sweet. So Air Force 993s. Apologies, I was like distracted, guys, by that ant walking in the background on my floor, so I guess the traps aren't doing their job as much as they should this summer already. But all right, now I want to move on to a GR pair that I think might be my favorite GR so far this year from New Balance. I'm going to just call them the Nimbus Cloud 993s. I know they have a different style code than that, RG, but I mean, they're Nimbus Clouds, and yeah, like every other Nimbus Cloud New Balance, pretty much, they are gorgeous. They're just really well done. They go with a lot, obviously. Gonna have to be careful getting them dirty, but yeah, just really cool. And I love that the white leather tongue there as well, to sort of sit on top of the whole thing. Okay, now we're gonna go to a really cool project, one that I know a lot of people are annoyed didn't see or hasn't seen a wider release so far, but these are the Shohei Ohtani 990 V6s that were a Tokyo New Balance store exclusive when the Dodgers were over there for their series to start the MLB season with the Cubs back in March. Now those green laces on them are, come with, and I think look really, really cool with the color scheme on them. I put in the Invincible and North Hollywood alternate laces from the Blue Moon 2002 Rs in there, just because the other set of laces that come with them are just plain white, chunky white laces, and I was kind of like, meh, let's see what they look like. So I think they look cool. I obviously am not sold either way yet. That's why I've got both of them in. But yeah, just an awesome color blocked silhouette. I think like being so low key and chill with that was a really good move. Very, Japanese cool kind of move for Shohei. So yeah, really cool. Happy to have them. And next to two that are very much not like that. And two that obviously, if you are into New Balances and you're on New Balance YouTube and Instagram, etc., you have seen these. You probably own them, or at least one of them. So Untitled, and I think they're called the Amazonia. I want to call them that. The way that it's spelled on some sites with an N, Inazonia, or whatever that is, I have no clue how that's supposed to be pronounced, and I'm not going to try to butcher it any more than I just did. But I'm kind of on the fence as to which one I actually like more. I know some people prefer the Untitles because they use the leather and they're more versatile, they're more weather resistant. Shout out to Sam. I enjoyed your video on the wear test on those, but I think these have a bit more of that exotic feel to them that the Baklavas for sure had in the the first set of two. But yeah, just another really, really cool project from him. I wonder if people are going to start to get a bit of fatigue from his stuff. I noticed that the reaction to the 992s that are coming out soon has much more mixed than a lot of the other stuff that he's done. So we will see, I guess. But okay, let's pick it up. This is already starting to drag. Here are two Explore By pack. One is the 998 to your left and the 990 V2 on your right. So the 998 is the Explore By Air pack. 998, again, nothing crazy to write home about, just solid color blocking, really nice materials, and a cool, versatile colorway, really. Not 100% sure on what aspect of air exploration or travel that's supposed to mimic. But the other ones are the Explore By Sea 990 V2s, and these are just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I love that very, very dark green leather on the upper of the tongue and the toe box that's framed by that kind of like camo canvas material. Burlap, whatever you want to call it. I always mess that up. And then just the really cool olive suede everywhere else. Accents with those dark green leathers. But yeah, just a gorgeous, gorgeous pair. One that you don't see a ton in larger sizes as well. But okay, let's move down to here. Okay, I said that there were a couple of other releases for Brownie and Kith this year that were really, really dope, and obviously these are one of them. These are the Osaka 992s. Not much to say about them. Again, like, just leans into that steel blue kind of motif a bit and then does its own thing. Very classy. I love that mauve. I think that's what that is. Mauve outsole. Just sort of that bit of accenting pop without going too wild for what they are or what they were going for. So just beautiful. And I think, again, putting the Kith there instead of on the back was maybe a small deal to some, but I think it was a good idea. Nice touch by them. So, all right, a bit of a wilder 992, and certainly one that you don't see very often. These are the first Deari Seville Culture First 992s. So I showed you guys the clouds back in, I want to say part 10, the kind of Packer 992-esque looking ones with a lot of browns and tans and stuff like that. These were the first ones of the two to release, and these are much more eye-catching with that rose or pink suede mudguard and the charcoal there in between, sandwiching in between the black, like snakeskin embossed leather, and then the baby blue, like robin's egg blue, Culture First, and the laces I put in on that one. So very rare. Really happy to have those with the clouds that I showed you guys, obviously, I was just saying. And huge shout out to Tom and Thad for you guys' help on helping me find those finally. So Deari Seville Culture First 992s. Okay, couple 991 V2s. These are the, I always say this as I announce this brand. This is never that 991 V2. Just, again, a gray New Balance. Some people love this. I do. I think it looks awesome. I think they did a great job with it. Some people question the lack of creativity or, you know, putting your own stamp on things when people do this. It's kind of the similar reaction to how people were with the Double Taps 998s last year, you know, but I love those personally. I'm a sucker for gray New Balances. What can I say? And as long as it's a different spin or a different tone or tones, sign me up. And V2s are as comfortable as everybody's told you. So, other half of the Kith Japan store, you know, inauguration pack, I guess, the Japan pack 991 V2s, a lot like those, just immaculately color blocked, not, you know, just the right amount of badging, branding. Tons of lace options too, but I really like those speckled lighter blue ones. And again, like he did with the MSG V2s, that clear lace Dubray down at the bottom with the Kith branding in it. Just a nice, cool little touch. And then the last collaborative V2 for today, the Salehi Colors Be the Palette. I want to say this was called. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not an enormous Salehi fan. I believe the only other project of his besides these that I have are the Lava 1906Rs. And I don't know. There's just something about his aesthetic that I'm not a huge fan of, but I do think that these were... I'm a fan of purple in general, but like I did like the way that these were done. I think these are kind of basically in line with the 990 V2s that he did a while ago, the like sand orange ones. But yeah, cool effort, something that stands out. It's cool to break up the rhythm of certain monotone pairs by throwing those on. But yeah, Salehi V2s. So, okay, I am doing the splits here, trying to get over here to a run of 577s. And I talked about this in one of my last videos, maybe one of my last shorts actually, that 577s and 76s, but 577s for sure. One of my favorite, like low-key, not really talked about model. And their catalog I'd put up against pretty much any other model in New Balance's entire catalog. So to start off the run, we're going to do one of Bodega's original oldest collaborations. These are the Hypercat 577s, and they kind of use Star Fox, that old N64 game, which I was definitely addicted to when I was 11, 12 years old, as inspiration. But one of my favorite parts of these, other than like the use of that cool like heather cotton like sweatshirt material, sweatpant material on the upper there, is the like turquoise translucent outsole that is still rock solid years and years down the line. So yeah, just a really cool pair. Not one you see terribly often, as are these two, and I'll shoot them together. Sad story about the ones to the right, the plums, but these are the Size and Made in UK 577s. These are the Fruit Machine pack berries and plums, one of 250 each. And they were done to basically mimic homage the slot machines that you find in a ton of local pubs there in Britain. And yeah, there was, I guess, a contest where you could win a one of 4 577 that they did called the Jackpots, which were actually quite plain. They were like all black leather with just some like bright accenting outlining colors, but one of 4, it's nothing to sneeze at. But I think these are just gorgeous all these years later. These are from 2007, I believe. And yeah, I mean, these ones are starting to crumble a bit. Let's see on the inner, yeah. So they're going to have to go to the doctor, but these guys are holding up rock solid still. Shout out to Tom once again. Thank you, my friend. Just Size UK. Their old collabs are off the charts, and I'll show you my two favorites in a minute. But here are 2 different sized for sure. Limited edition 577s. The Vault 577s are over there. Really cool kind of Stingray-esque leather with a ton of 3M on them, which unfortunately over time and humidity change starts to flake off. But still holding up, still rock solid. Put them on the other day, walked around in them. They're still holding on real good. So those are the Vault ones. These ones, I was never like totally sure what the actual name of them was, but these are the second part of I think it was a trilogy that they did, limited editions did with New Balance. But these are the 3M reflecting panels on the top there. That goes all the way around the ankle. And then the top of the toe box there, those light up like you wouldn't believe when you take a photo of them. So really, really cool looking. Really cool to have 2 of the 3 of the limited edition 577s. And now we're going to come down here to the row of honor. So I talked about the Colette and La JC, Michael Deari, the guy that does the All Gone book series that like recaps that year in streetwear and sneakers and stuff and art, street art. Him and the Colette, the boutique shop in Paris that's you've probably heard of before. You've seen the other 2 1500s if you watched the last part. This is the third part of those 3. The 3M and carbon fiber looking pink 1500s. Now I believe these ones were for the 6th anniversary of La MJC's advertising agency. I want to say that. Again, I could be getting the facts mixed up and it might have been one of the other 2, but very, very hard to find anymore, especially with the original midsole on. These are absolutely 100% fully wearable. Give a good squeeze right there. They are just beautiful. And shout out to my friend over in Europe, in Germany, for hooking me up with those and finally letting go of them so that I could finally complete the set. But I want to say one of 150, something in that range. All right, moving on to another rarely seen pair, more niche for sure, is the 860 V1 from Offspring. And the pack that they released way back in 2001, there was a 4-pack of shoes. It was these. There were 2 577s and a 576, I want to say. And they all had one of the store's physical location numbers in the postcode over there in England on the back of it, embroidered. And it was one of, if I believe, the first collaborative pair out of Flimby ever. So along with the other 3 from the pack, not just this one. But yeah, and I think the old shape of the 860, the V1, is really, really sick. I think it's a very underrated looking model, and I would love to see them bring it back, give it some love. But yeah, very, very cool looking, very rare Offspring 860s, V1s. Okay, I'm going to show both of these together, all 3 of these really together, but these are 3 of the rarest, most legendary New Balances that I can think of, that I have chased for years, that I have obsessed over, that I have, frustrated myself over trying to get repairs done on and get shipped across international boundaries. But these are kind of, to me, the pinnacle of like the old generation of New Balance collaborations. So to to start with, we have the Thomas I. Punkt Hamburgg 577s. Now, there were two that were released. These are the rarer of the two. They were 34 out of 74, so 74 pairs made of these, and it featured a screen printed or silk printed polka dot pattern on the tumbled leather upper, those like heather, like I said with the other Hypercats over there, heather, like cotton sweatshirt, sweatpant material on the ankle collar, toe box. Then you've got the tumbled white leather, and then the purple suede. Just iconic, man. Iconic as you could get with these. Yes, those are... Oh, ran away. Shoes. I gotta have your shoes smell good if they're this old, guys. The 577 Hamburgg tongue there as well. Just one of those pairs where, you know, you sometimes you see a good picture of somebody who's lucky enough to have them, and it always catches your eye. It always caught my eye, and I'm so blessed to have them. And I want to say thank you to my friends again in Hong Kong for chasing them down and then helping me with the repairs, because they're fully repaired, wearable, and matched with the correct gray outsole, white midsole combination that was also very unique to them back when they first came out. So the rarer of the two. Now, obviously, I said there was a second pair. They omit the polka dots on the upper, and they have them over around here, and they have like more of a clean white upper look to it. But they were, I believe, one of 120. So still looking for those. Would never turn my nose up at those, but I'm so blessed and happy to have that version in the stash. And okay, so I'm going to move it over here, and I should have taken it out as I was setting all this up, but you guys know me. I like to do these things the more difficult way. So these I'm showing you is the Harrods and Size 574s. Again, as you can clearly see from the insert, they were part of a 2-pack of 574s that were made in USA. And yeah, I guess I'll just kind of show it there without narrating what you can clearly read. But important part, 1 of 12. 1 of 12, so that makes them, as of now, the rarest New Balance in my entire collection. And, you know, some will say, well, it's just the 574. Yeah, and you'd be right. And 574s are awesome, and 574s have one of, if not the best catalogs of models, collaborations, just amazing color block GRs as any model in their calendar, or catalog, excuse me. So yeah, I just think that I prefer these. I know I would say that, right, because I have them and not the others, but I think these are the nicer looking. The others are a bit more eye-catching with the pink, but yeah, these a bit more wearable and also still holding up. Shout out to everybody that takes care of their kicks, stores them properly, repairs them or cleans them. You take care of your kicks, they will take care of you, especially New Balances. All right, and to wrap this way longer than I anticipated video with probably more mess ups in it than any since I started doing this, so forgive me for that. If you've made it this far, I'm rewarding you with the John Brotherhood 577s from Size, the Coup d'Eclat pack, as I showed you with the BGO 577s in part 11. Again, released at a event in London with Size and some of their brand partners. These were the actual in-event release box, kind of like housing box that came with them, and these are the rarest of the 4 that were released in that period of time, over that month or two back in 2006, and they were 1 of 60. So maybe the most iconic looking, I've used that phrase way too much now, iconic, I'll say it one more time, but probably, in my opinion, at least the most from, their last 15 or 20 years. It's just as Joker as it gets. Shout out to the Stray Rats. You guys killed those V3s. No hate like that, but I mean, I don't think you can beat these. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And again, privileged, blessed to be able to have them in the collection and next to so much of this other incredible stuff that I'm grateful for. And Tom, like I wanted to wait until the end to thank you properly, but you know, I think these are as impressive along with those as anything you've ever helped me to find. And yeah, they are rock solid. I mean, if you get a used pair in this stratosphere from somebody who knew what they were doing when they owned them and kept them in good shape, like New Balance's construction methods will last, you know, far longer than most other brands. So I'll just say that I broke them out the other day, and I didn't worry hardly at all walking around in them. So that is part 12, guys. Again, apologies for the delay in getting it out. Apologies for some of the flubs in the filming of this, as usual. But hopefully that ant that was over there found his way out of here. But I really appreciate you guys. I hope everybody has a blessed day, doing well themselves, enjoying New Balance, enjoying collecting, enjoying the brand, but just being kind to each other and being chill, good people. And I just wanted to say thank you once again to everybody that's been a part of my channel and shown me some love and support, offered constructive criticism, or corrected me on any of the numerous mistakes that I've made when I've rambled on filming these kind of things. So again, thank you guys, and until the next one, probably going to be more of like a extras, because there's still some stuff that I could have put in this one, but I'll probably do an extras to this in the next week or two. So enjoy this, and until the next one, we will see you later.